This is the furnace, the evaporator coil for the air conditioner. The furnace is a 90% or high efficient furnace. It is also known as a condensing furnace. When this furnace operates, it will produce condensate water, which will drain down this condensate drain tube into the floor drain. So when you operate your furnace in the wintertime, it's normal to see a little bit of water coming out of that hose going into the condensate drain. You will also notice water going down that drain when you run the air conditioner. The evaporator coil acts as a dehumidifier basically in a home and takes humidity out of the house. Water will also go down that condensate drain line into the drain tube. So whether you're running heating or cooling, you're going to notice a little bit of water going down there. That's normal. It's imperative that these drain lines stay clear throughout the year, that they don't plug up or back up with water. Otherwise you will have some heating or air conditioning issues. This little pipe here, I call it a snorkel. Basically what it does, this provides combustion air for the furnace. Your furnace may be in a laundry room, it may not. Just be aware this cannot be obstructed in any way, otherwise you will have some heating issues. To turn power off to the furnace, over here on the side, it's in a 4x4 metal box. We call this an SSY. This is an electrical disconnect for the furnace itself. If for any reason you would want to disconnect the electrical power from the furnace, or maybe turn it on and off to maybe reset the furnace, if you had a technician tell you to do something like that, this is where the switch is located. It's just a simple on and off switch. It's basically like a light switch. Inside here there's also a 15 amp fuse. It screws into place, so just so you know, there is a fuse in that disconnect. One other item I'd like to discuss, and this is probably one of the most familiar to most people, most basic, is the filter. This is the filter rack. The filter simply slides in and out just like that. The direction of airflow, there's always an arrow on the side of the filter. Any filter you buy should have a directional flow arrow on it. Arrow always comes down and return it into the furnace, so the arrow should always be pointed down. The rule of thumb is to check the furnace every 30 days, or check the filter, excuse me, every 30 days. You can purchase filters out there on the market now that say that the filter is good for 90 days. That may not always be the case. It depends on how often you run the equipment, the heating, the cooling. It may last 90 days, it may not, but the general rule of thumb is to check it every 30 days and just replace it if necessary. All right, and in the main circuit breaker panel, there are actually two circuit breakers. There's one set of circuit breakers here for the condensing unit outside for the air conditioner. There's also another circuit breaker on the main panel for the furnace. So they do actually operate on separate circuits. Just want to make you aware that there are actually two, one for cooling and one for the actual furnace operation. Your thermostat, it's a 7-day programmable thermostat. You can program it to run the heater cooling at any temperature you want, at any time you want. There's an instruction manual for that. This is a quick reference guide that's actually in this little slot with the thermostat. If you need to change the batteries, this is a battery operated thermostat. You just pull the front cover off. This is considered to be this is the sub base. You don't want to grab a hold of this and pull, otherwise you may end up pulling one of the anchors out of the wall. Just pull the front cover off. Inside here you'll see 2 AA batteries. You'll get a battery low light or a battery light that flashes on here if the batteries are low. Good rule of thumb there is just change them probably once a year and you should be okay. This just snaps on and off pretty easy. On the thermostat itself, you have a system switch right here where you have heat, cool, and off modes. Of course, switch it to whatever you'd like it to be, heating or cooling. Then you would adjust the temperature using the up and down arrow. Or again, you could get in here and run a program if you wish. You also have a fan switch, which gives you automatic and on. The automatic feature, of course, the blower in the furnace will come on automatically when the furnace runs. If you select heating, or if you get a call for cooling, which is fine. Most people leave it in that position. You also have the option to switch it to on if you want the blower to run, if you would prefer that, in between heating and cooling calls, or maybe in the springtime where you don't require heating or cooling and you just want the blower to run to move air through the house and filter it as well. You can do that. So that option is available to you if you'd like to do that. All right, this is the flue pipe for your condensing furnace. I just wanted to point it out to you, let you know what it is. When the furnace is actually running, when the temperature outside is cool, you're going to see a little bit of fog come out of here. That's normal. The main thing about this is you want to make sure it doesn't get obstructed in any way. So you want to keep it clear. Don't hang anything on the pipe. You definitely don't want to break that. So just to point that out and let you know what that is. All right, this is the condensing unit for the air conditioning system. What you see here, these louvered panels, are hail guards basically to protect the coil. Through the course of a cooling season, they can become plugged up with dirt, cottonwood, and what have you. At least once a year, these panels should be removed by a qualified technician, and these coils should be rinsed out. I wouldn't recommend taking these off on your own. It is actually quite involved. This here is the electrical disconnect for the condensing unit, 240 volts. I really don't recommend that you do anything with this. Don't try to open up and disconnect power to it. It's mainly there just for the service technician when he services the condensing unit.